One of the more pricey games for Gamecube is Phantasy Star Online Episodes 1 and 2. There are actually two versions of this game, the regular and the plus version, and usually the plus version is the one that gets pricey. The plus version was rarer than the regular version, and it also has missions that were previously online exclusive on the disc, making it the more sought after version of the game. Without any context, it's not the most exciting pickup for Gamecube, and even with context, I wouldn't consider it a must-have for your collection, but it's still fairly interesting. Phantasy Star Online, or PSO, was the first online MMO on home console, and was created by Sega's Sonic team. While we had games like Diablo on the PC at the time, no one had ever seen a game like this on a console before, and it ended up being quite impressive. The game was a futuristic dungeon crawler game for the Dreamcast where up to 4 players could join a party and complete missions and collect loot. This game at the time was regarded as groundbreaking, even winning a Game of the Year award in Japan. Unfortunately, the Dreamcast was discontinued in 2001. However, the servers for the game stayed up for 2 more years until October of 2003. In August of 2003, Sonic Team posted this. On behalf of Sonic Team here at Sega, we would like to thank you for making PSO an unforgettable experience. You have brought us much joy and wonderful memories. We invite you to try PSO on GameCube and Xbox, and share your knowledge and skills with other PSO gamers, so your legacy will continue to live on. Like many other Dreamcast titles, PSO was ultimately ported to the GameCube and Xbox, complete with online functionality. As a matter of fact, PSO was only one of 4 games that even utilized the GameCube's online capability, the other 3 games being the Plus version of the same game, another Phantasy Star game, and a Japanese exclusive game called Homeland. So even on the GameCube, PSO was still a big deal considering how it pretty much dominated online play. The game ended up lasting about another 5 years. GameCube servers were shut down in 2007 and the Xbox servers were shut down in 2008. At first glance, this game is just the shell of what it once was. Why would you want it now? From a purely collector's perspective, the Plus version is one of the rarer games for GameCube, so you might be interested in it. However, the single player and split screen multiplayer is still fully functional because it's offline. But there are a few things that still make the GameCube version of the game unique that could be responsible for its hefty price tag. While the official servers have shut down, there are still a few private servers for GameCube that are still up, so any active players or anyone looking for a bit of nostalgia may be looking for a copy of this game for GameCube. This game also serves as a way to unlock a special character in the more popular games Sonic Adventure DX and Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. By completing the Fake and Yellow mission in offline mode, you can unlock the Tails Chow in the Chow Garden. So that alone could be another reason why this game is somewhat sought after. But is this game worth getting for your collection? Even though this was primarily an online game, you can still play quite a bit of the game offline. The GameCube broadband adapter wasn't super common to have, so I guess it made sense to have something for players to do offline in case you randomly got this game for Christmas or if the servers ever went offline. The offline gameplay is pretty much the same as online. Even the progress you make on your character carries over between offline and online, because all of your character's data is stored on the memory card. To start the game, you have to make a character if you don't already have one. There are 3 different classes and up to 12 different character types you can choose from. Basically, you can have a melee fighter, a mage, or a sniper, although each character can use at least some of all 3 of the fighting styles. Once you select your class, you have quite a sophisticated character creation menu to go through. It's really impressive for the GameCube. There are a bunch of people on a ship called the Pioneer 2, who are trying to colonize the planet Raggle. Your character is a member of the Hunters Guild, which means you get to go on missions to kill monsters and find missing people on the planet. The Pioneer 2 serves as the hub world in both offline and online play. Here you can go to shops, heal yourself up, deposit items and money in the bank, and go to the Hunters Guild and start missions. Once you accept a mission, you typically go to this portal over here and get beamed down to the planet. When I first played this game, I thought the controls felt a bit slow and wonky. However, after playing for a while, it seems like the combat is supposed to be a cross between turn-based and real-time. Kinda like old school RuneScape or Kingdom Hearts, if that makes sense. You have light attacks, heavy attacks, and several different spells and items. The cool thing is you can actually choose which attack or item you want mapped to each button. You can have up to 3 attacks, spells, or items of your choice set to the A, B, and X button, and you can also set 3 additional attacks, spells, or items to the same buttons, which you can toggle between by pressing the R button. So basically you can have up to 6 attacks, items, or spells ready to go at a moment's notice without having to go through your menu or inventory. Attacks feel really slow and weird at first if you've never played the game before, but there's actually a trick to it. If you tap the action button 3 times in a certain rhythm, you can maintain a combo of up to 3 attacks. It takes a little bit of practice, but once you get the hang of it, you will get a lot better at this game just for knowing that. You can collect all sorts of different weapons throughout your gameplay, and apparently the higher the difficulty, the rarer items you can find. And of course, the more experience points you will get. Aside from getting loot, one of your main goals is leveling up your character, so you can fight stronger enemies and find better loot. And that's basically the loop of this game. You know how these kind of games work. Aside from leveling up your character, you also have a pet sidekick thingy called a mag. The whole idea of the mags reminds me a lot of the Chow from the Sonic Adventure games, which makes sense since this is a Sonic Team game, but it's a little bit different. A mag can be equipped just like weapons and armor, but it's a living thing that grows and evolves. When you equip a mag, it will float by your shoulder and follow you around. Your mag has stats, and by feeding it items that you don't want or need, its stats will grow. When its stats grow, it will level up and even evolve into different forms. The benefit to you is that different mags give you different stat boosts. You could think of it as like another set of armor, or a stat boosting item, although mags also have a special attack you can use when you take a certain amount of damage. Every character starts with one mag, and the color, I think, is determined by the colors you use to create your character. You can find more mags as loot, however they're pretty rare, and there's a much easier exploit to obtain multiple mags. Simply make a new character, go to the split screen multiplayer offline mode, and then drop trade the mag to the character that you want to have it. This can be really useful if you want to experiment with all the different kinds of mags you can create. And there are quite a few unique ones, including a Chow and Robo Chow mag. For single player, you simply complete missions or crawl through dungeons almost exactly the same way you would online, but by yourself. However, you can also do split screen with different character profiles, so you can get a more similar experience to what you would get if you were playing online. So as you can see, there's still a lot that you can do with the game today. However, I will admit that a lot of the fun of these online MMO games is playing online with other people, showing off some of the super rare loot that you found, or aspiring to be like some of those super high level players that you find online. Offline is fun for a while, but it gets pretty old after you beat most of the missions. Granted, I only have the regular version, not the Plus version, and there are a lot more missions on the Plus version. Now, I've never played online on official servers. I had a Gamecube as a kid, but I never had this game or the broadband adapter. However, I have played online on the private servers. It's really hard for me to compare Sega's official servers against the private servers because I just don't know. But I know that some private servers have made some changes. Some of them have changed XP rates or item drop rates. Sometimes they even add completely new missions, which is cool. But the game is mostly the same as it was back in the day. So if you want to play some Phantasy Star Online, you can do that. Also, one thing to note on the private servers, they're kind of split by platform. While all the players on any platform can meet in the main lobby, GameCube players can only join with other GameCube players, and PC players can only play with other PC players. Dreamcast can only play with other Dreamcast, and I don't know if there's an Xbox private server, but if there is, it's probably Xbox players can only play with Xbox players. Also, the GameCube players can either play on an actual GameCube with the whole setup, or a homebrewed Wii, or on PC with the Dolphin emulator, as long as you legally backed up your copy of the game. One more thing I wanted to talk about is the chat system. You can use it online or offline, although it's clearly intended for online. You press the Y button and the on-screen keyboard pops up, and you can type things into chat. With a regular GameCube controller, this is really inconvenient. It's nearly impossible to use the controller to type things and keep up with the game at the same time. You can set up some phrases like yes or no to quick chat by using the D-pad, but if that's not good enough, there is the GameCube keyboard controller. I actually don't have one, so I'm just going to show a picture. This thing is weird. It's basically an elongated GameCube controller with a keyboard in the middle. The top part of the shell is white and the bottom is the typical GameCube indigo color, and it takes up 2 controller ports. One plug is for the controller part and one plug is for the keyboard part. So if you don't actually want to use this crazy controller, you can just plug in the second wire to slot 2 and a regular controller to slot 1. and use the regular controller to play while using the keyboard controller simply as a keyboard, which I'm sure is greatly appreciated. I have also heard that a USB keyboard will work if you're playing on a homebrewed Wii, but I haven't actually tried this. So that's Phantasy Star Online episodes 1 and 2 for the Gamecube. I will say, as a Gamecube fanatic, there is something really amazing about playing a Gamecube game online in modern times. It's something I didn't even know was possible, and going back and being able to try it today is pretty incredible. Now, if you're a huge Gamecube fan or collector and you already have everything else, this might be fun for you to look into, especially while private servers are still up. But this probably isn't a pickup for everyone. Unless you play a lot of Sonic Adventure 1 or 2 on the Gamecube and you really want the Tails Chow, then maybe this is worth getting just to have. If you do want to try to get into it, there's still a small community of people playing specifically on the Gamecube version. But just like any other online game, it takes a lot of time. And that's really all I have to say about Phantasy Star Online. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time.
I define my direction and cast my light in time that shines my protection. I shed blood just to rhyme in perfection and move at God's speed, no time for reflection.